Hey guys, welcome to the sixth video of the Linux interview question and answer series. And if you have not watched the previous five videos, I will put the link into the description. And if you like those videos, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to get the notification. Because your support will motivate me to make more videos. You can also write in the comment box if you want me to make video on a specific topic. So without further ado, let's get directly into our first question, and that is, suppose you are asked that what will you see in slash dev directory. You can be asked about any directory because Linux is about directories and file system. You can be asked about slash proc directory, slash sbin and bin directory, which we have already discussed in our earlier video. So when you're asked about slash dev directory, what will you say? And the answer is slash dev is the location of special or device files. It highlights one important aspect of the Linux file system, and that is everything is a file or a directory. Look through this directory and you should hopefully see HDA1, HDA2, etc., which represents the various partitions on the first master drive of the system. Slash device CD-ROM and slash FD0 represent your CD-ROM drive and your floppy drive. This may seem strange, but it will make sense if you compare the characteristics of files to that of your hardware. Both can be read from and written to. Take slash device slash DSP for instance. This file represents your speaker device. Any data written to this file will be redirected to your speaker. So if you try cat slash boot slash vmlinux on a properly configured system, you should hear some sound on the speaker. That's the sound of your kernel. A file sent to slash dev slash lpo gets printed, sending data to and reading from slash dev slash ttys0 will allow you to communicate with a device attached there, for instance your modem. The majority of devices are either block or character devices. However, other types of device exist can be created. In general, block devices are devices that store or hold data. So these are the bullet points you have to keep in your mind. There are a lot of information into this slide, but if you remember some of the information and you understand this information, that will be enough for you. So character device can be thought of as a device that transmit or transfer data. For example, diskette drives, hard drives and CD-ROMs. While block device are serial ports, mice and parallel printer ports are all character devices. So here are some of the common device files that you may wish to remember. Slash dev slash tty is first communication port. Slash dev ps aux is mouse connection. Slash dev lpo, that is for printer port. Slash dev dsp, first audio device. The name DSP comes from the term digital signal processor, a specialized processor chip optimized for digital signal analysis. Slash dev slash USB, that is nothing but your USB devices. This subdirectory contains most of the USB device nodes. Slash dev slash SDA for SCSI device. Slash dev SCD for your SCSI CD-ROM. Slash dev slash JS0 will be for your standard game port joystick. Coming to the next question, what is a umask value? What umask value does root and normal user contains? Guys, this is a very important question and this is a type of sure shot question in your interview. So what is happening in this video series that you are preparing for your interview as well, and you are getting to know about different topics as well. So the what is UMask? The user file creation mask is the full form for UMask. It is used to determine the file permission for newly created file. See, whenever there is a new file created, there might be some or the other permission on it. So this is used to determine that. So it can be used to control the default file permission for new files. It's a 4-digit octal number. A UMask can be expressed or using symbolic values. Most of the distribution of Linux gives 022 as a default UMask. So whenever you create a file or a directory, the default UMask value will be 022. So we can say it is default permission to the file and folders by the system. When we create any file or directory in Linux, they are governed by UMask setting. In case any system administrator does not set the default UMask will be 000. This means that the new file created will have read and write permission for each user, and new directories will have read, write and execute permission. So to answer what UMask value does root has, the root UMask value is 022, and for normal user the default UMask value is 002. The UMask value calculation itself will create a separate video because it is not a small topic. So if you guys want me to create a video, separate video on UMask calculation, let me know in the comment box. I'll definitely create one for you. Coming to the next question, and that is what is a run level and what is a target. So run level and target is nothing but a run level which was referred as run level in RHEL 6, and target it is referred as target in RHEL 7. A run level is nothing but as a present operating state on a Linux system. A system can be booted, that is started up into any of several run levels. There are total 7 run levels, each of which is represented by a single digit integer. Each run level designates a different system configuration and allow access to a different combination of process. There are differences in run levels according to the operating system. 7 run levels are supported in the standard Linux kernel, which starts with 0. 0 is nothing but system halt. There will be no activity. The system can be safely powered down. Run level 1 is a single user run level, which is rarely used. Run level 2 is a multiple users, no NFS, there will be no network file system. It is also rarely used. Then multiple users. This run level 3 is mostly used in all over the organizations because it is a command line interface and which is preferred and recommended by most of the organizations. Run level 4 is a user definable, and run level 5 is the another run level which is used often. It comes with graphical user interface, the standard run level for most Linux based desktop systems. Run level 6 is used for reboot whenever you want to restart the system. Similarly, we will have a look on the target. 0 run level 0 dot target is power off, that is shutdown or power off. 1 is run level 1 dot target is for rescue, set up a rescue shell. 2, 3, 4 are multi-user target, a non-graphical multi-user target. 5 is a run level dot target, it's a graphical dot target. It is similar to run levels only, but the difference is the name. Run level 6 used for reboot dot target. I've just mentioned it so that you also get an understanding about the target as well, which is used in RHEL 7. Coming to the next question, and that is what is sudo command. This is also a very important question. The sudo command allows you to run programs with the security privileges of another user, by default as a super user. It prompts you for your personal password and confirms your request to execute a command by checking a file called sudoers. So whenever a normal user wants an admin privilege, there are some modification needs to be done in the sudoers file, which we will see in the next slide. Using the sudoers file, system administrators can give certain user or groups access to some or all commands without those users having to know the root password. It also logs all commands and arguments, so there is a record of who used it for what and when. To use a sudo command at the command prompt, you have to enter sudo and the command whatever you want to execute. So in order to allow admin access to a normal user, what you have to do is you have to go inside the vi sudo file, and there is this parameter you have to uncomment. Uncomment means you have to remove the hash symbol in front of this line, then save the file, and then you have to add the user. For example, there is a user xyz user. You have to add the user with the following command: user mod hyphen a add in the group wheel, then the username, and then just switch to that user and try to execute the command with the help of sudo. It will definitely run with the admin privileges. So coming next to our question, that is, what is multipathing? This is again a topic where it will not be it cannot be explained in 2 slides, but I have tried to include most of the information in these 2 slides. What is multipathing, how to do LUN mapping, and which storage you have used? This type of question also can be asked. So multipathing, a path is a connection between a server. It is very simple. It is the path is nothing but a connection between a server and the underlying storage. The path can be severed, or the path can be broken due to many reasons like faulty cable, faulty HBA. To avoid such single point of failures, multipathing exists. Multipathing ensures that a system uses multiple physical paths to provide redundancy and increase throughput. It is all about providing redundancy, all about providing 24 hours service, so that the service goes continuous and it doesn't breaks down due to any of the faulty behavior of the hardware. Device Mapper Multipathing is a Linux native multipath tool which allows you to configure multiple input-output paths between server nodes and storage array into a single device. These input-output paths are physical SAN connection that can include separate cables, switches, and controllers. Multipathing aggregates the input-output paths, creating a new device that consists of the aggregated paths. It means two different paths will be aggregated to a single path. The data or the things will flow to that both the paths. If one path goes down, the other will be there for running the service 24 by 7. Regardless of the vendor hardware in use, Device Mapper creates a block device under /dev/mapper for each LUN attached to the system. What is LUN? LUN means basically logical unit number. It is used to identifying a logical unit relating to computer storage. A logical unit is a device addressed by protocols and related to fiber channel, small computer system interfaces, SCSI, Internet SCSI, and other comparable interfaces. The physical drive of iSCSI targets server shares its drive to initiator over TCP/IP network. A collection of drives, remember, a collection of drives called LUNs to form a large storage as a SAN. SAN is nothing but a storage area network. In real environment, LUNs are defined in LVM. LVM is nothing but the logical volume manager. If so, it can be expandable as per space requirements. LUNs used for storage purpose SAN storage are built with mostly groups of LUNs to become a pool. LUNs are nothing but are chunks of a physical disk from target server. We can use LUNs as our system's physical disk into small operating system. LUNs are used in clusters, virtual servers, SAN, etc. The main purpose of using LUN in a virtual server for operating system storage purpose. LUN performance and reliability will be according to which kind of disk we are using while creating a target storage server. Coming to the question, what which storage you have used, uh, the most commonly known storage for SAN is IBM DS 3400 SAN storage. You can tell whatever storage you have used, or if you have never used a storage, you can also tell that I have never used but I know the functionality, and if I get a chance I can work on it. So this is how you can tackle the situation.